Did it go? Don't kill me, please. Can you say hello? Hey, big girl. Can you say hello? Hi. Yes, hi. Hey guys, it's Pros again, and I can't even do this. Mommy can't even do this. Can you give Mommy a kiss? Thank you. Okay, so hey guys, it's Pros again, and welcome back to my channel. Now this video, y'all, please don't kill me. Just stay with me as I walk you through. Okay, as I walk you through where I have been for these last 2 years. As you can see, I am a mommy now. And she is mostly a part of the reason why I went ghost on you guys. Because after my last vlog, which was the vlog of me boxing, I told you guys that I was feeling extremely exhausted, and she was the reason, because I was pregnant. I want to walk you through the whole pregnancy journey, so this might have to be a two-part video. As you can see from the title of the video, that she was born at 27 weeks, 1 pound 11 ounces, and she spent 84 days in the NICU. But prior to even her birth, there was a lot of things that was going on with me, so I really wanted to take the time out. She's teething, so that's going on, but I really wanted to take the time out to tell you guys where I have been, what's been going on, and just give you guys like a little life update. My shirt does say wife life, because I also got married, so there is a lot that has happened in the last 2 years. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Isn't that right? So yeah, it's gonna be a long video, so grab some tea, grab some wine, grab a soda, water, whatever you think that you may need to get you through this video, because I need y'all to like walk with me through this journey. Okay, okie dokie, do you want to start? This is Destinee. Meet Destinee. Hi. I was pregnant in the last vlog. So the last vlog I did was boxing. I was pregnant. However, I didn't know I was pregnant. I went away for a weekend with my sister, and I had some heavy rush of bleeding, and I was like, well, this is not right, because I just had my period like a week ago. Yes, I had my period like a week ago. So I was like, this is not right, like something is going on. So when I got back into town where I live, I went and did an appointment. Upon going to the appointment, they had me do a pee test for, pregnancy. However, when you want to tell the story? However, okay guys, I'm gonna have to put her down. I'm gonna put her show on and come right back, because we're not gonna get through it, and it's a lot. Here we go. So upon taking the pregnancy test, we thought everything was okay. She went through my period log, everything seemed fine, and then when she came back, she was just like, you are pregnant, however you're currently going through a miscarriage. And I was just like, what? So immediately I broke down crying, because I wasn't able to like really process what was happening, right? Yeah, so Destinee's godmom, she works at the clinic, and so she was able to come over and kind of console me and like get me to calm down, because I was literally like hysterical. For me, y'all know I'm Jamaican, so like I didn't want, like, yes, I was in a committed relationship and now we're married, but at the time it was like such a stigma to have a baby outside of wedlock. And then also with a Christian home, like I was just like freaking out about what my mom's gonna say, what my dad's gonna say, like how people are gonna look at me from my life, and how she's a Christian and she's having a baby. Like, it was a lot for me, and so in that moment it was so much going through my head. Also, I love Destinee to death. She is my world, but I also never really saw myself as a mom. Yes, I love children, but I never really, thought too much about like actually having kids of my own. So that was like another scare, because giving birth was like the biggest fear that I've had in life before I even knew I was pregnant. So up until this point, so now I am literally freaking out. Okay, so upon, you know, finding out I was pregnant, I was also told that, hey, you're also having a miscarriage. And I was just like, okay, like, so again, just trying to process all of that happening all at the same time. Anywho, Marisa gets me to calm down. Thank you God for her, because I don't know if I would be able to make it. And then what they did was they took me over to the lab and they drew blood because they wanted to do like a comparison sample next week to see if my HGC levels were still going up, and if they were still going up, that would mean that I would still be pregnant. But at the time, obviously I don't know that, because you just told me I'm having a miscarriage. So it was a long week. It was a very long week. Anywho, left the clinic, went home. I was like, well, how am I gonna tell George? How are we gonna figure that out? Like, what's gonna go on? And anyways, I went to his office. You know, it was his lunchtime, and I was just like, I have something to tell you. Well, the doctor said like I'm pregnant, but I'm having a miscarriage. And I literally like broke down crying. Again, it was more so like so many things were going through my head, and I just wasn't able to like process everything. And I was an emotional wreck for a week. When I actually got home to like lay down and sleep, I could not. Palpitations, heart racing at like 24/7, had issues with that. And it was just very, very scary for me. Anyways, so what was happening is that I had a subchronic hemorrhage, which basically means the placenta attached to my uterus, and then it detached, and with the detaching there was a lot of pooling of blood in that little pocket, and that was causing me to have these like random episodes of, you know, like blood. Sorry guys, TMI. So that was happening. So upon basically just like a waiting period of a few days to get the other blood sample, every time I went to the restroom and I would wipe, it was almost like I was on my period. So I want to say I had anxiety just to use the bathroom, because every time I went to use the bathroom, that was happening. And it was just a really test of faith, because for me it was just like, are you going to believe like what you're seeing with your eyes and what the doctors are saying, or are you going to believe in God and like have him like walk you through this process, because he knows like you would be here at this time in this space, like with this issue, like who are you going to believe and who you're going to trust. So it was a very hard time for me. Fast forward, you know, one more week passes and I go back and I get another blood sample done, basically just to make the comparison to see if my HGC levels were going up or down. And the second time around they called me, they said, you know, hey, congratulations, like they're going up, so congratulations again, we're going to set you up with the OBGYN, you have to do your first ultrasound, you have to do this, that, the third. And like my phone keeps ringing. WIC is calling me, OBGYN is calling me, hospital is calling me because I have to do like an emergency ultrasound. So many people are calling my phone that like I could not even really have time to really process what's happening. Anywho, we went. So that was 1 week. I'm trying to slow down. Let me slow down, guys, because like talking about this now, it really still like brings emotions, because it was a very hard time for me. So we get the blood sample. Great. 2 days later, I get a call from the hospital. The hospital is saying, hey, we were sent an emergency ultrasound form thing, so that like a lab, so that you need to get that done ASAP. Can you come in today and do it? So I'm like, sure, I can come in today. Call George. I'm just like, hey George, I need to get this ultrasound done, so that he shoots from work, like flies home. I'm like half naked. This is Destinee coming in. Any noise you hear, girl, guys, it's her. We get to the hospital to do the ultrasound. Get to the hospital, they're like, hey, what's going on, like what is the issue, blah blah blah. And then we did the regular ultrasound. Look at her over here. We did the regular ultrasound on my stomach, but they really couldn't see much. And then they did an intravaginal ultrasound as well, and that is the one that basically like showed the lab tech that they could see the heartbeat on the baby, which was a good sign. No, don't touch that. And then they basically were able to like take the first set of imaging from that, so that was good. So we left that appointment feeling a lot more refreshed and, you know, happy and excited, because at that point because at that point we were still just trying to figure out, like, am I actually going through a miscarriage or not? So after that, all of that happened. Are you sleepy? Yeah, so after all of that has happened, I'm feeling a little bit, you know, a lot better. Mentally still was going through it, because at this point, like I told my mom, told my sister, haven't told my dad. My dad is a pastor, so yeah, that was a hard one to figure out. So we took a few weeks. The ultrasound did show that I was 8 weeks pregnant. So at this point, 2 weeks into it, no idea that I'm pregnant. Still very like shocking to me, because the only thing that I was experiencing, I was really just exhausted. Like, I didn't have morning sickness, none of that, thank you God, because God knew if I experienced all of that with this first one, there was no more coming. Okay. But so yeah, I mean, the ultrasound reviewed I was 8 weeks pregnant at the time. So 2 months of no symptoms, not complaining at all, thank you God. And then it was just kind of like playing the waiting game still, because I was still having those bleedings from the subchronic hemorrhage. So as we continue to go through this journey, I think I'm at 12 weeks now, and I go for a checkup. I go for the checkup, and the doctor was just like, we cannot find her. She did the ultrasound in clinic. She's like, yeah, we can't find the baby. So I really do believe like you might have had a miscarriage. Mind you, this is the second time I'm hearing this. And so I was just like, you know what? At this point, when I heard it, I was just like, I know what I'm feeling now with my body. I know that I'm starting to feel a lot more changes happening with my body. So you can tell me that you don't feel or see her, or at the time we didn't know the baby, but the sex of the baby. But I know what I'm feeling, so they had to send us back to the hospital again to do another ultrasound there, but the intravaginal ultrasound, because the topical ultrasound wasn't showing her. And I think it was because like she was buried deep down in there. As we get later into like labor and delivery, which I most definitely have to make a separate video, because I feel like this video itself is going to be long, you'll understand why I say this. So we go back to the hospital. We're now at 12 weeks. We go back to the hospital, and then the same lady that did the first ultrasound, she was the person that was responsible to do the second ultrasound. And so when we get there, she is like, oh my God, they can't find the baby. Like, what is happening? I don't like this. This is not good. And she is freaking out as she walks us back to the ultrasound room. And I'm just like trying to like tune her out just a little bit, because like I know it was genuine concern, but at that time like I can't take no extra stress on top of like what I've already heard for today. So we go back there, we'll go through the ultrasound, and she's like, no, the baby's there, we can see the baby. She's real deep in there, but she's there, which was definitely like another sigh of relief. But this second time around, like I didn't feel as bad, because like I knew I was pregnant and I knew the changes that my body was going through. However, at the same time, I want to say that like I was still having the little bleedings ever so often. And also I started to feel nauseous, and I wasn't able to eat. Cooking was for the birds. That was never going to happen. So just a lot of different changes that was happening for me. Now, also, I did not know a pregnancy is 10 months, because all this time I have been used to hearing 9 months, 9 months, 9 months, 9 months. So I'm over here like counting it down like, yeah, 9 months. And then I'm like, but my tracker isn't like lining up to this 9 month situation. And like when the doctors talked to me, like that's also not lining up to this 9 month situation. So I was just like, I don't really know. So then I just Googled it one time. I was just like, how many weeks is a pregnancy? And it said 40 weeks, which is 10 months. And I was like super mind blown. Nobody in my family that I have been around has had like babies. So it's just like, this is a brand new thing for me. So I'm feeling a lot better, able to eat a little bit more. We went to New York for Christmas, and that's where I felt like I felt the best, because I was also able to like get some Jamaican food. My husband at the time wasn't my husband, but he's American. I don't know nothing about Jamaican food, so he couldn't cook it for me. Do you want some more? Yeah, so he can't cook anything for me, and he can't help me out because all he wants is like American food. I know you want to look, but you're so sleepy. Alright guys, I gotta rock a little bit. So that was that. And then come back from Jamaica. Once we came back from Jamaica, it was January, and so we had to go in for the anatomy scan, which basically told us like if it was a girl or boy. And when we went for the scan, we wanted to do like a little reveal or surprise. I know, sweet girl. A little reveal. I know. So my reaction to that video is because I really wanted a boy. I felt like I was like a boy mom, and like it more so fit my lifestyle. And like you guys see like the beauty side of me, but I'm like a coach. Like I'm very like heavy in like fitness realm. Like a boy would like, yes ma'am, what's the problem? Guys, and I really have to like, I might have to stop this completely because we're in her room, okay? Alright guys, so 2 hours later, but I'm very determined to finish this video. Destiny went for a nap and we're in her room, so it had to come to a pause. But what I was saying was I really felt like I was going to be like a boy mom because, there she goes. Because like, I'm very rough in general, and I feel like God gave me her. Yes ma'am, because like I needed to like calm down and like tap into my sensitive side, because even though I was like in makeup and all that stuff, like my personality did not match that realm of life. Like if you met me in real life, I'm cool and stuff, don't get me wrong, but I'm still like rough around the edges and stuff like that. So I was really hoping for a boy. Anyways, so right after that I actually found out that I had COVID. So I found out that I had COVID while I had her. They had asked me if they wanted me to do, don't take it off because your hair is a little messy right now. They wanted me to do a synthetic infusion of some antibiotics, whatever. I opted to not do it because I had COVID prior to that, and my symptoms were not that bad. So I said, you know what, I'm currently not like, I know I'm not feeling well, but I only had like nasal congestion and a cough. I'm laughing because no, you leave that alone. She's kind of having like speech delay. She's 1 year and 3 months, and she's only really saying like sometimes dada. But since we've been sitting here, she's like been wanting to say more. So yeah, so I found out I had COVID. Didn't do much with it though, because I didn't want to take anything, you know, to my body while I had her. Then right after I had COVID, I mean 2 weeks later, my water broke on Valentine's Day. This is 2022 now. My water broke on Valentine's Day at 4:30 in the morning. At first I thought I just peed myself, and hear me out, like you hear a lot of like moms say that, but I really thought I did, because at first I woke up like 20 minutes prior and I felt like I needed to pee, but I was like, I'm feeling a little bit lazy, I really don't want to get up right now. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to get up right now, so I didn't. So then when it came, I was just like, oh, I peed myself because I waited too long. Anyways, after that I sat back in the bed, and like Holy Spirit just told me, don't go back to sleep. And I said okay. And I sat there for like another 15 minutes, and then when I went to use the restroom again, I saw some more blood. And that's when I knew like something was wrong. So then I woke up babe and I said, hey, we need to go to the hospital. Now also in those 15 minutes, I was sitting there like, I don't want to be bothered right now. I don't want to be stuck by no one at the hospital. Nothing of the sort. So I was just like, we are not going to the hospital right now if we don't need to. But we end up going, and the hospital that in the town that I live in is like 30 seconds away, so it's not even far. But like the hospitality of the nurses and stuff there, it was very terrible. When I got there, they sent me up to the labor and delivery ward, and the nurses up there, they were like real rush. No one had a sense of urgency, nothing of the sort. So when we finally got up there, at first they did a vaginal swab to see if the water was just like just urine or if it was like amniotic fluid. At first the test came back not positive for amniotic fluid. And then also they did a check to see if my cervix was closed, to basically see if I was dilating or not. I was not dilating, so then they were like, oh yeah, you're fine, but we'll keep you here like to observe just for a little bit longer. And I said, okay, that is okay, that's okay with me. Anyways, they ended up doing another swab and it showed that it was amniotic fluid. No, it was amniotic fluid. And that my water indeed did break. So they don't have a NICU on this hospital that I was at. So then they were talking about transferring me to a hospital that was 3 hours away. And the doctor was just like, you know, with insurance and stuff, they typically want to transfer you to another hospital that is in state rather than out of state. But there is also a bigger town that's close by to where we live that had a NICU in the hospital, and they're like, you know, you're too far along to make it 7 hours in an ambulance. And furthermore, me no one want to see no bill for how much it would be for be a 3-hour drive to another hospital. Okay, it was the short little 30-minute drive to the hospital the next city over already cost me like $1,000. So we're not even gonna get into that at all. Anyways, before we got there, I had to get a steroid shot to help with her lungs, and that was going to be 1 steroid shot and a shot of antibiotics, I think. And then we just waited, and then we end up transferring to the hospital that's 30 minutes away, which is Joplin, Missouri. I'm just gonna keep going and just kind of, as I edit, see if I will go ahead and chop up this video or not. But definitely the NICU experience will have to be a different video. Anyways, so we get to Joplin, and I mean, day and night difference with the nurses, day and night difference with the doctors. I mean, they were waiting for me. So when the ambulance pulled up, the nurses were already outside ready to like put me on the switch me off the stretcher and take me in, and they already had my room set up and all of that good stuff. So one thing, like, let me roll back just a little bit. So while we were at the first hospital, you guys know they use a Doppler to find baby's heartbeat. Well, Destinee was so far down. For one, she was breached, so her legs were down, and she was so far down that they had to put the Doppler on top of my vagina to find her heartbeat. And that's why when I said earlier, like, you know, she was deep in there, she was like deep in there, and she was further down. So then we get to the new hospital, they set me up. When I got there, like every 20 minutes I needed to pee. And I mean like clockwork, every 20 minutes I needed to pee, right? So I was getting up and going to pee as usual, you know, not thinking anything about it. And then finally the nurse was just like, well, the doctor does not want you to get up and pee anymore. If you need to pee, ring the nurse button and we will come over, put the bedpan under you, and you'll pee there. And that was like, it wasn't like, it was just weird. It wasn't like anything else but weird to me. Anyways, so the doctor came in, she did an ultrasound and showed that the baby was breached and she was low. And then also the Doppler that they put on me, I mean, if I shifted like even 1 centimeter to the left, like the baby's heartbeat was no longer found. So that's when it's pretty tricky, because how they had to like lay the Doppler. Like typically you'll be able to lay the Doppler around the bigger part of the tummy to like get the heartbeat, but because it had to be placed so low, they don't really have anything for it to stay in place. Hey, you wanted to be in here, so you gotta let mommy tell the story, okay? So doctors came in. The surgeon, the doctor that did the C-section, so I had to do an emergency C-section, so we're gonna get into that. But the anesthesiologist came and spoke to us. The NICU person came, spoke to me and George. I had a lot of doctors just coming in and talking to me and letting me know what the process would be like if I had to deliver early. However, upon getting to the hospital, they told me, oh, you're 27 weeks, so you're going to be in the hospital for the next 6 to 8 weeks. We're going to try and keep her in there as long as possible. So these people are coming now, and they're talking to me, and I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, hearing you, but not really like thinking about it. And I'm doing all of that because they already told me, like, I'm going to be here for 6 to 8 weeks. So was not at all thinking about, hey, I'm going to deliver this baby today. So I was finally able to eat something, because from 4:30 in the morning until about 5 o'clock that night, I wasn't able to eat, and they finally cleared me to eat because they told me that I would be stable and I would just be in there. So then it got closer to the nighttime and I was hungry again, and the nurse was like, oh no, you can't eat that, like, just in case. And I was just like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm hungry. I'm pretty sure baby's hungry too. Like, you know, what's up? What's going on? Anyways, don't take it off. Anyways, at this point we get to about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, George, we gotta get some sleep. Like, we've been up since 4:30 this morning. Let's get some shut-eye. I close my eyes, George closes his eyes, and not even 10 minutes later, not even 10 minutes later, a swarm of nurses come in like a SWAT team to let me know baby's in distress, her heart rate's going up and down, mommy, we're gonna have to take her now. And I mean, one person vigorously started shaving my vagina, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I was not prepared for this. I am not planned. And immediately my whole body starts shaking. And I'm not like fake, like when I say shaking, hey, I'm literally like shaking. I'm literally shaking like uncontrollably. George is like kissing me on the forehead. He's like, April, babe, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I'm just like, I know, but like I can't stop shaking. So apparently I asked the nurse, I'm like, is this normal? Like, she was just like, it's just adrenaline rushing right now, and so that's why like your body's reacting like this. Anyways, they wheeled me off to the ER, to the OR, sorry, the operating room. They rolled me off to the operating room, and the anesthesiologist cannot get my spinal tap, whatever you call it, started. Okay, he keeps sticking me and sticking me and sticking me, and he stuck me at least 20 times before they could finally get it going. After we got it going, it was very hard for me. Okay, I do not like needles at all, and this is why it was very hard for me to like even think I was pregnant, because delivering babies, like, I never want to do that. And the needle part is the part that tripped me out the most. So after we got that started, we laid out flat, like my arms were like stretched on this metal thing, and then the anesthesiologist comes over, or the doctor comes over, and the doctor is just like, is this the IV that they've had started with you all day? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's not gonna work, it's too small. And then I'm just like, oh my gosh, so more needles. Like, after I think I get over like all the needles that I need to get for the day, no more needles. So then they had to start it over and start an IV drip, and then out of nowhere George appears, and at this point I am still shaking like a fiddle on the table. Okay, my hands cannot stay still. My mouth is doing that little thing, you know, when you're cold outside and you do like a little thing. Yes, that is me, shaking on the table. And George's like, babe, April, it's gonna be okay, like calm down. And I'm like, I am trying to, like, I am praying as all of this is happening. Yes, pumpkin. Bye-bye. So all this is happening and I can't get a grip of my body. My body is just like, I'm just gonna freeze out right now. Anyways, so they were able to take her out. Everything looked okay. They told me because of how small she was, that she wouldn't be crying or anything, so I shouldn't be alerted. But as soon as she came out, she let up 2 big bursts of crying. They put her in a little plastic bag to like help her regulate her temperature, and they gave her it's like an asthma pump, but they gave her something that would help her lungs to be able to breathe. And then her and George, they went to the NICU and they left me there to get sewn up. So now I'm freaking out because it's taken them a long time to sew me up, and later on I finally found out that's a good thing because that means that they weren't rushing or anything like that, and they were really taking their time to like put me back together, which was good. After that, I was rolled back to my room that I was previously in, and nobody tells you about this part. So the lady, my nurse is like, hey, we're gonna have to like massage your tummy to make sure that like your uterus goes back down to where it's supposed to be, because you know it's inflamed from the baby growing and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, cool, you gonna massage my stomach. That lady punched me. My stomach was into my back. She was pushing so hard into my stomach. Yeah, so she basically like, she is punching me. Do you hear me? She is punching me. I am one that is not very good with pain, but that's probably the most painful thing I've experienced like throughout the whole thing. So then after that, they wheel me over to go see Destinee for the first time. They will be able to see Destinee for the first time. And I'm like immediately just praying over her as she's in there. I was so afraid to touch her because she was like literally this small. She was born 12/32 on February 15th, so we missed Valentine's Day by 32 minutes. But I also blame the anesthesiologist because he took forever to get that little whatever tap started. And so I finally was able to go see her, you know, just praying over her. I was afraid to touch her because she was so small. She actually looked pretty good is what they said for her, given for her age, her gestational age, which was 27 weeks. And I mean, it was 27 weeks on the dot because like once midnight came and it switched over, she was 27 weeks. So she came right at 7 months. So, and then the NICU process starts, but I want to take a separate video for that because I don't want to rush through that part of it. So yes, that has been what took over my life and why I disappeared off YouTube, and I want to come back into this space because I feel like my creative juices are flowing again. And because of Destinee, I started a business called Destinee's Crown. She lost majority of her hair when she was in the NICU. So well, once she got out of the NICU, and she also has eczema, so we weren't able to just use regular products on her, and so I started my own line. But I'm gonna use this, just do a separate video on that to kind of talk a little bit more deeply into it and like just everything behind that. But I really want to come back on here with this being the first video because also her release date was May 9th, and we're coming up on May 9th right now, and I wanted to make sure that video was out before, because I wanted 1 year to pass where I could just focus on her before like I come back on this and like focus my energy and space into this. So I wanted to make sure I had this video out before May 9th. But come here, sweet girl. And then I think you boo-booed, so it's time to go. It's time to go. Say see you later, girl. You booty stay. Say see you later. See you later. say bye-bye and please subscribe to our channel. See you later. Bye, guys.